Hello, my name is Nicholas Jiroudi, and tonight my partner Trevor Beal and I will be talking about our company comparison report between Chevron and Exxon. So, to begin, who are our owners? The top shareholders in both of our companies happen to be the same within the top four. So, we have Vanguard, BlackRock, State Street Corporation, and Wellington Management. The stakes each investment firm holds in the company are very similar, but some hold a larger stake in Exxon rather than Chevron. Next is why do investors care about our cost of capital? So, cost of capital is very important because it is the opportunity cost of making an investment. This is important to the company because they can maximize their value and give the shareholders a higher return. We found it very important to include the current debt, which the current debt ratio for Chevron is 24.38, while Exxon is 21.33. What is our cost of debt financing? Our cost of debt financing is the amount of money a company needs to pay in order to borrow money. This holds a high value because individuals need to understand the total amount of interest being paid on the money that is being borrowed or their debts. So, in order to do this, they have the pre-tax cost of debt and the after-tax cost of debt. So, the pre-tax cost of debt is the credit rating default spread in addition to the risk-free rate. So, both Chevron and Exxon have a double A credit rating, which results in a 1% default spread that we found through Demoderon's sample. So, the current risk-free rate is 2.68. So, you add those two, and we get a pre-tax cost of debt for both the companies at a 3.68%. Next is the after-tax cost of debt. The after-tax cost of debt is the pre-tax rate times the effective rate minus the interest rate. So both Chevron and Exxon have a pre-tax rate of 3.68%. We then multiply the effective rate, which is 100%, minus the corporate tax rate, which is 24%, and we get a total of 2.8%. Next is our cost of equity financing. This method can be found using the capital asset pricing model, or CAPM. This is the long-term government bond rate plus the beta times the equity risk premium. So both companies will be using the same long-term government bond rate of 2.12% and the same equity risk premium of 5.76%. So for Chevron, they have a stock beta of 0.91, which gives them a cost of equity financing of 7.36%. And for Exxon, they have a stock beta of 0.98, which gives them a cost of equity financing of 7.7%.
Hi, my name is Trevor Beal, and today I'll be discussing the remainder of topics in our report. First off, we have overall cost of capital. This is very important to a firm because it's used to make decisions about new projects and capital structure. Using some numbers we talked about earlier, such as cost of equity, debt to equity ratio, after-tax cost of debt, we were able to calculate the overall cost of capital for both Chevron and Exxon. Chevron has a 6.94% overall cost of capital, and Exxon has a 7.17% cost of capital. Can we lower this by changing our capital structure? We believe it's possible by implementing some borrowing tactics. Currently, both companies are made up of very large amounts of equity financing, and the sector average is 85%. If we create financing through more debt allocations, we would be able to lower the overall cost of capital, as well as create an interest expense tax shield, which is equal to the value of the interest expense times the tax rate. In theory, we could reduce the taxable income by 24 cents per $1 of added interest expense. This would decrease net income, but it would also increase free cash flows, which is a positive. How would a restructuring affect the value of our companies? We could add more debt to both companies to increase the market cap, but we don't think that adding debt to both companies is very useful because of the nature of their business. Both companies work with oil and gas, which are a limited resource that they cannot produce more of in-house. They have to go find it and go through the environmental regulations and the journey of even finding an oil deposit. So adding more debt wouldn't necessarily create more value for the firm, especially since they don't really want to invest in new renewables like wind and solar or electric cars because those pose an existential threat to both companies. So we looked at the competition as well. British Petroleum has a 68.59% equity percentage, Valero has an 81.12%. Royal Dutch Shell has 75.92%. So we determined that both of our companies are in the equity percentage range that they should be, and we don't think that we should change that. Lastly, we analyzed the stock price, and we concluded that Exxon, at the time of our data, was undervalued by $4.77 per share, and that Chevron was actually overvalued by $27.70 per share. Using that data, we concluded that our money would be placed into Exxon rather than Chevron. So, thank you.